We're at Pilatus Aircraft's Broomfield, Colorado headquarters today to fly the PC-12 NGX. This is my first time flying the NGX, and I'm looking forward to our flight to Steamboat Springs, where we're going to see how it performs in the mountains and on a relatively short runway with a steep approach. It's been 6 years since Pilatus Aircraft upgraded the venerable single-engine PC-12 utility turboprop to the NGX version, and Pilatus announced in early 2025 that it was switching the PC-12's avionics to a full Garmin suite. But before that, I got the opportunity to fly the latest PC-12 NGX and experience all the great features of this airplane as it had developed over the years since it first entered service in 1994. Since then, Pilatus has built more than 2,000 PC-12s and the type is still going strong. Pilatus Business Aircraft Chief Pilot Gerard Lambe planned a flight from Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport to Steamboat Springs, a relatively short flight for the PC-12 NGX, which has a maximum range of 1,800 nautical miles. The NGX is the last of the PC-12s with Honeywell's Apex avionics, which came online in 2008. And it's capable and powerful and also made for a smooth transition for pilots moving into Pilatus's PC-24 jet, which has the same avionics suite.
So it's very similar. It's like I said, you can jump between both aircraft quite easily. You just go look at the different white speeds on the markers on the tape and you're fine, right?
I taxied to Rocky Mountain's runway 12 right. I advanced the throttle until the auto throttle took over, and the big Pratt & Whitney PT-6 and Hartzell 5-blade composite propeller quickly accelerated the PC-12 and lifted us into the air.
Okay, here we go. All right, just push her up there. A little bit of, get your feet off the brakes is good. Just a little bit of right rudder there, a little bit more on the throttle. A little more until it goes green, a little more. There you go, now it's got it, auto throttle's engaged. Very good. Alright, takeoff thrust is set. Airspeed's alive. 62 knots. And rotate. There you go. Alright, brakes. Brakes. Aim here. I'm going to go ahead and get the amp on early for you.
Alright, 0 kilo, runway 12 right.
Alright, career and flaps can go up at 100 knots there.
Delta, number 2.
Left to the 270. We're going to have to put the inertial separator open here in a second. We're looking good. Flight level change. Go back to manual. Cabin's pressurizing good.
Do you put the separator on when you're going in the clouds?
Yeah, for considering for ice, for icing in clouds, right? So our temperature here is commensurate for that, and I'm also going to turn on the prop ice. It doesn't cost me anything. I have enough loss on the inertial sep. The prop doesn't cost me anything. We'll turn the boots on if we do see some ice buildup. The book technically says going into icing conditions, the boots on. We just don't know if there's ice in these clouds at this point. Is how I see it.
Yeah. Slippery definition of no icing.
Exactly. I'm going to get the weather radar going here. Weather radar on.
Bravo, Denver departure radar contact on the maintain 9 or 1,000.
9,000, 9 Bravo. Departure crew check 531,
9,000, 1,000 to 10,000.
Check 531 approach Roger.
The weather radar going here, just in case there's anything here.
We leveled off at 13,000 feet, but soon were cleared to 15,000, 17,000, 19,000, then finally to flight level 220.
There's no turbulence penetration speed published. Most guys use between 160 and 170. There is one node in a descent check, emergency descent checklist to not be above I think it's 170, but this is a good speed for us here for this.
November 0 Sierra Bravo, contact first on 127.05, just let them know you're heading.
2705.
And not really much ice on the wings.
At 17,000 feet, the PC-12 was burning 471 pounds of fuel per hour. Lambe said that the PC-12's fastest cruise speed is in the low 20,000s altitude range, with speeds of 275 to 280 knots and fuel flow in the high 300 pound per hour range.
So it has the same capability here. Just so you know, you saw it on the other aircraft. And it will bring the weather in based on your route of flight. You can see it being displayed right here. Normally it's going to climb at 140 knots and 0.3, I believe it is.
The flight to Steamboat was fairly short, so we headed toward flight level 220, where we would settle only briefly before getting ready for the approach. Weather was decent with just a 7,000-foot overcast and a light crosswind, but the airport is surrounded by mountainous terrain. Lambe set us up for a continuous descent final approach, something that's easy to do with the Honeywell avionics and its vertical situation display.
So we're kind of going to go past Steamboat here to Meeker, just to give us a little bit of a cruise run, and then we're going to go into this initial approach fix of route, and then going into Steamboat Springs.
Okay.
So the approach will be the RNAV Zulu. It's runway 32. 9100 is our MDA. We'll do this as a CDFA, so I'll set 9130.
The PC-12 is a big airplane with a lot of wing, and Lambe cautioned that it's important to get the airplane configured to avoid coming in too fast on the steep approaches typical at Colorado's mountain airports.
A lot of these steep approaches, as you can see here, 3.77.
Yep.
If you're not configured ahead of time, you're not going to be able to get down, right? And we're going to be in the weather, so we're going to be geared flaps 15. So what I'll do to help myself out, even though, let me load this approach, and this is just all, you know, how people do a technique on stuff. We'll load this in from route.
United 645, contact number 7132485 today.
13285 at 645 today. Center Scope 1011.
You'll see map key is up here. It's at or above 10,800.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Tilly a 12 at 12,400. So we descend earlier. So then I can be slower, so I can get myself all configured in, or I'll make actually map key a hard altitude here, and then the airplane will descend to make that work.
So you want to be configured before map key?
That is correct. Yeah, you want to have
At Tilly or after Tilly?
After Tilly is fine, but we need to be slowed down and configured before map key on a 3.77. If we don't have our gear and flaps set, we'll end up getting too fast and idle.
Yeah, I think a lot of people put off getting configured. I think it makes sense to do it early.
Yes,
There's no drawback.
exactly. In the mountains, you get a lot of these steep approaches, like going into Aspen to localized DB Echo. If you're not configured ahead of time, you're not going to get down. And we'll VNAV down to that altitude of 10,800, and then we'll do a CDFA down to the 9130. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to FMS and put the auto throttle back on.
We move the propeller to the low speed position, which cuts noise significantly. Low speed can be used in all phases of flight, including takeoff, but not for steep approaches.
So what we're going to do now, let's prop low speed. You saw the torque increase right there.
How did you do that?
There's one button right here. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a yaw, obviously, because you got the different torque change, but it's a much more comfortable.
So it goes down from 17
to 1550. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, similar to the King Airs, you take off at 2,000, you set 1,700 for cruise, right? Because you're maximizing your torque for takeoff, right, with those high prop speeds. Or actually maximizing your horsepower because you're limited on torque.
Whiskey radar contact. What's your type and destination?
So the torque goes up slightly.
Correct.
And is our fuel flow about the same though?
Yeah, we can look at it here. It's about the same. And I think I'd have to double check. I think the book says like you lose a knot at true speed or something like that, or two. So we can see here 460 right now.
Pilatus 1, pilot discretion, maintain 16,000.
pilot discretion, 16,000. We're doing a demo. We might delay that a little bit.
Pilatus 1, roger. Just maintain possible 220.
We'll maintain 220. We'll advise we're ready to descend.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same.
For center 134.5.
1345 plus 1.
On the way back down, we demonstrated the NGX's high-speed protection, which pulls the nose up to prevent exceeding maximum operating speed when the autopilot is engaged.
So if we did get close to VMO, it's not going to pull back the auto throttle, but would it raise the nose?
Well, if the auto throttle is engaged, I can't set a speed above MMO.
Oh, okay.
If the auto throttle is not engaged, it will hit a max speed where it will eventually pitch the air nose up, but it only has a pitch capability. It doesn't have an auto throttle capability. I can demo that for you here in the descent if you want to see that.
Yeah, if it works out.
Yeah, it works out fine. So what I'll do is I'll pull the power back like I did yesterday. I'll have the power up. You'll see the white mark go in there. You'll see max speed come up. And you'll see the nose pitch up.
Denver, Pilatus 1 like to maintain current routing length to get a decent to as low as you can get us at this point.
Pilatus 1, just going to maintain 15,000. The steamboat altimeter is 3009er.
3009 plus 1.
Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this back.
Possible, just verify 15,000.
Descending 15,000.
Auto throttle. Auto throttle.
Okay, what I'm going to do here is show you this demo here, 15,000 BS.
Medevac 403, Delta Papa Denver Center, roger.
Alright, I'm going to go like this.
Medevac 3 Delta Papa, clear direct, fast.
I know he gave us the altimeter setting, but I don't know.
That's 3009, we'll get that in a second.
All set here.
Yeah. So you see the max speed there coming on?
Yep.
Okay. What I can do that also is I have the controls. 3009 here. Pull it back to idle. We can do the same thing with without the autopilot on there.
Medevac 403 Delta Papa, descend via Pender 3, Denver, sending altimeter 3001.
And again, pitching over. I don't think it does it without the autopilot engaged. See?
Yep. You're pulling back, right?
That's correct, I'm pulling back. Yeah, that's what I thought on this one. Yep. It's only with the autopilot engaged.
We continued descending towards Steamboat, then dialed in the ATIS to check the weather. We picked up a little icing, but nothing serious.
All right, we got 3009 set. We're descending a little bit early here, just kind of get ourselves all set up. When we get a little bit closer past route, we'll request direct to route. We'll be good to go. Okay, so 6,500 scatter, 7,000 overcast, winds 260 rough. Good shape. Picking up just a little trace stuff on the leading edge, not a problem.
Yep.
Approach, altimeter 3009, ice protection is on. We will turn off the prop de-ice once we break out of the clouds on the approach. It will just make it easier because it reduces the speed it's required, obviously, because the AOA for landing. Fuel quantity is good. Right here, taxi and landing. Where's our final? Okay.
13360 for 95 last.
Are you about ready to turn inbound?
Sure.
Okay, very good.
Denver, Pilatus 1, request.
Pilatus 1, go ahead.
I request a direct route for the RNAV Zulu Steamboat Springs.
Pilatus 1, okay, you want to do, understand, okay, direct to route. So direct route.
Yeah, direct route for Pilatus 1, and then we'll be requesting the RNAV runway 32 for the approach.
We turned toward the route waypoint for the RNAV 32 approach, then slowed down due to some turbulence. Not an unusual event when flying in the mountains. The PC-12 just plowed through solidly.
We're slowing down to 170 just for some turbulence. Beautiful with these kind of little, clouds like this.
One cross route at or above 14,000, cleared RNAV GPS Zulu, runway 32 approach to the Steamboat Springs Airport.
Cross route at or above 14,000, cleared RNAV runway 32, Steamboat, Pilatus 1.
We continued along the approach to runway 32, then called the CTAF to let local traffic know what we were doing.
Steamboat traffic, Pilatus 1, route RNAV runway 32, Steamboat.
All right, you have the controls. I will help you out with the we'll do flaps 15. Once we break out, we'll go to flaps 30. It's critical to be on speed. You'll see the mountain off our nose. There's a valley to the right of the mountain. We'll check towards that, and then you'll see the runway on the other side of it. The valley is pretty closely aligned to the runway. It's a little bit of an S-turn around. Just like the PC-24, flaps 15 is the easiest landing, but it's going to be a little bit fast here without having to use the reverse. So flaps 30 is, flaps 40 is the most difficult landing. At the descent point, I'm going to slow us down to 150, or I'll have you spin that in. The approach volume, we're so high right now, it's 2,500 feet, so we're too high for us to go into it because the mountain, these are so steep to fly. A little bit of ice there, just a little trace on the leading edge. We can hit the boots on if we want there, just go 3, it's not going to hurt anything. Temperature's good. I mean, to me, that's really nothing at all.
What's the most you've ever gotten?
We don't fly a lot in bad weather, but this airplane can handle a lot of ice. Where people run into problems is they get too slow.
Oh, right.
There you go, the boot just blew off a bunch of it.
Oh, yeah.
The airport let us know that they would drive across the runway to disperse some sandhill cranes that were perching on the strip, probably because it was warmer than the surrounding terrain.
Just want to advise, we've got some sandhill cranes on the runway currently, 3-2, just wanted to let you know, and we're going to try to take care of it for you.
Pilatus 1 copies, and if you're on runway advice, we'll just go ahead do a go around.
Go to 320, you see how we're coming in just slightly off angle. I'm going to go ahead and turn the radar off.
Yeah, so now it's protecting. That's MAPKey, right? 10-8.
10-8, right, so now it's going to meet us at MAPKey 10-8, but MAPKey is also 5.7 away, so we're going to want to be configured about 2 miles prior to MAPKey. I got the speed down on 150 so I can configure. Again, it's about thinking ahead of time. On the right-hand side, I can hit approach now, and now I'm arming the CDFA.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's going to do the dive and drive setup. So let's go ahead and do flaps 15. As we see the speed's good.
Traffic maintenance vehicle on the runway.
And we'll go ahead and do gear down. Okay, now we're going to go to FMS speed. And we'll go ahead and turn the prop, the ice off here in a second. This is just because we have a lot of weather going on and the rest of it. Right? And we'll just let it drive in a little bit further. We can go prop de-ice off now. That will lower our DSB for the approach.
Clear of the runway and birds are clear of the runway.
Pilatus 1, copy Steamboat traffic. Pilatus 1 is MAPKey inbound runway 32, Steamboat.
All right, very good. So we got gear, flaps are set 15. We'll hold that right now because we're going to set 30 for landing once we get closer. So there it's at MAPKey, now it's captured the DDFA to VP, and just, I don't know, you might be able to see the runway on the other side of this mountain, but it's on the other side, and we're turning right towards this mountain right here.
Yep.
And you'll see that we'll let it fly for a bit, and we'll terminate it and just let you fly around the
so
right.
So you go around the right over the city?
Yeah, over the city, yeah. But we'll just let it, so you can see how, I mean, this is a pretty challenging approach in the weather. If you think about it, you're driving right into this mountain. You can barely see the runway on the other side of the field. And this is a 3.8 degree approach. This is well within the design limits, and I got the full autopilot, auto throttle, and this is where all those safety features help out with the auto throttle. I can get my eyes outside the cockpit, I can start looking for the runway, and I can trust the system here. And there's some towers on the top of that mountain too. So as you see right here, the other day I did this on a demo, and we broke out at minimums. And so you look out and you see this mountain, and if you didn't pre-plan it, you'd be like, where's the hell's the runway? But I've been here enough where I'm like, hey, you got to do a little jog to the right. We'll see it. So you can, at any point you want to go ahead and disconnect the autopilot with the trim button. The trigger, just hit the trigger, it will disconnect. Okay. And I'm going to take the auto throttle away. And now you're flying, and so you can continue down if you want. If you want to start the jog to the right, you're welcome to do that. And once you get lined up on final, I will lower the flaps to 30 for you.
Okay.
I'm going to kill your flight director because now we're off the...
Approaching minimum.
You'll see the runway on the left-hand side there of our screen under...
Minimums.
Yep.
All right, very good. Good power setting right there. 12 was a pretty nice one. You can shake a little bit more to the right so you can get lower. You'll see that how steep you are. If you're not, you can see the runway now a little bit off the corner there. Just over you'll see the building off in the distance right there. At the end of the town, there's a little bit of a brownish green area.
Yep.
There you go.
Oh, it's just to the left of that?
Yep. I'm gonna give you flaps 30. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, I left the boots on. That's fair.
I do have the runway.
Roger. And we're a little bit steep here, so try to get on your regular glide path, whatever you think is good. That's a good thing with this flight path vector you see right here. You can see that we're about a 3.8 on there to make the runway, because that's our actual path. So let's get that nose down here, pull the power a little bit, just make it a little bit more normal for you. Otherwise, you're really swapping ends. Got the...
I see that.
these are pappies.
Happy there.
Pappy. Yeah, I'd pull a little more power. Let's get on that. We're still about a 4.5 right now, 5. To lower that nose and pull that power back a little bit more. We're pretty steep.
Steamboat traffic, Pilatus 1, 2 mile final, runway 32, full stop, Steamboat.
All right, good. Now you can add that power back in there, about 9-ish on the PSI to start. A little bit more, right about there you go. A little bit more in there.
Boy, this really reacts quickly. We're a little bit fast.
That's fine, we're looking good. Leave it there about 6 or 8.
$500.
Take a little bit of power out. Good. Yeah, just leave the power right there. We'll be perfect. Carry that power into the flare a little bit. Keep that nose come down. Keep that nose come down.
100. 50.
Now
40,
just a knob without.
30,
Knob without.
20,
There you go.
10.
We're a little bit high. Come down. There you go. Keep coming down. Keep coming down. Keep coming down. Keep coming down. We're still a little bit high. We're about 5 feet. There you go. There you go. Nice. You just leave it there. We'll just let it roll at the end here a little bit. Just a little bit easy on the brakes.
1,000 feet remaining.
All right, I'll take the brakes for a second.
You have the brakes?
500 remaining. 100 feet remaining.
A little bit long.
Yep. That's no problem. I was just big baby on the brakes. I mean, we had reverse and everything else, but... All right. You have the aircraft.
Have the aircraft.
On runway 14.
Even though we had the PC-12 configured well before the final descent, I still had to manage the power and keep descending promptly without picking up speed to ensure a safe landing at the high-density altitude airport. I did end up using most of the runway, but we also didn't use reverse thrust or heavy braking. So that was a fun approach. We did the RNAV approach into Steamboat Springs and broke out of the clouds, and you have to make a right turn around the mountain to line up with the runway. And then a little bit of a steep descent down to the runway, but everything was perfect, and here we are. The trip back to Rocky Mountain Metro was a great way for me to get more familiar with the PC-12 NGX. We climbed to flight level 190 this time, and it seemed like in no time at all, we were lined up with runway 12 right. The wind was blowing from 040 at 13 knots, gusting to 18 for a 13-knot direct crosswind. Even with flaps set to 40 degrees, the PC-12 NGX was perfectly controllable right down to the runway, instilling plenty of confidence in this incredibly capable airplane. Flying the PC-12 was a fun and comfortable experience, not just because of the airplane, but also because I'd just flown the PC-24. The two airplanes' cockpits are set up similarly with almost the exact same avionics package, so it's a familiar environment for switching between the Pilatus turboprop and jet.